novice drivers face the same problem. This is a car parking. And the larger the metropolis, the more difficult it is to park the car. I offer the easiest way to train. If you have already learned how to maneuver on empty areas, then it's time to learn how to park between real cars. By the way, we already showed on our channel about such parking methods. You can see if you click on the link. But today we are offering you this lesson. We will leave many times and again repeatedly call in the parking space. I note right away, you need an assistant to avoid unwanted consequences. Moreover, the assistant must have driving experience. It is advisable that your assistant also watch this video and be ready to insure you. He will have to be outside the car in the immediate vicinity of you. Car windows must be open. You must hear your mentor. You must have at least a minimum driving experience in the city at this time. And I hope you do not confuse the pedals. Otherwise, you need to continue to practice on free sites and on roads where there is minimal traffic. You yourself see what is required of you. Multiple exits and arrivals in the parking lot, both in reverse and forward. But let's look in order. On the first exit, pay attention to the side of the car on the right. Danger will always lie in wait for you from the direction you are turning. If you turn towards the blue car, then you have to be afraid of it. If the front of your car drives onto the road, this does not guarantee that the back of your car will not damage the blue car. Perhaps this is the only danger in this situation. But you should also ensure that other people's cars do not move along the road. Many drivers are afraid to hurt a white car, especially if it is close. But this will not happen, even if it is a few inches away. Here is the last video tutorial on this topic. If you turn away from someone else's car, then you are moving away from it. Why? Here is a comment from that lesson. The designers designed the car so that the back of the car looked like a boat. They made the back of the car smooth. The car has no sharp corners. This is done so that your car does not touch foreign objects and everything that can be near the car. And we move back, and then try to call the parking lot in front. You should now cuddle the front of the car as close to the blue car as possible. You have to drive half the blue car, that is, its front door. And all this time to be very close to him. And only after that start turning in the middle between the cars. Until that moment, we persistently press to the blue. This is to ensure that the rear of the car is in the middle of the parking lot. If you do not approach the blue car, but drive the front of the car in the middle of the parking lot, then you will very strongly cling to the white car. You will not be able to open the driver's door after this. That is why we press the front of our car to the blue car so that the back of our car is in the middle of the parking space. Your car will move quite effectively from the blue car. For this, only 1 foot will be enough movement and it will easily stand in the middle. If the front and back of the car will be in the middle of the parking space, it means that the car itself will be exactly in the middle. The car will stand smoothly and beautifully. When reversing with the steering wheel unscrewed, pay particular attention to the front of the car. Many prefer to straighten out and only then unscrew the steering wheel. But this option will not always be successful. We will run into the rear car and there will not be enough room for maneuver. It is necessary to seek a compromise. You should not twist the steering wheel as much as possible, but you should do it slowly and slowly unscrew the steering wheel. Once you understand that you are in the immediate vicinity of someone else's car, straighten the steering wheel. This will make it possible to pull off a little, then again unscrew the steering wheel. Again we approach a strange car, and again we straighten the steering wheel. You must do this several times, until you completely drive along the white car. Then twist the steering wheel as much as possible. Look at the black and white cars that are standing behind. The assistant must monitor the absence of passing cars, as well as the front angle of your car. At the end of the maneuver, he should watch the approach to the rear cars. Now you are driving in reverse. You must use a different tactic. First, make sure that there is a gap in the mirror between your and the white car. If this gap is not there, then you are moving to another car. If there is a gap, then you do not touch it. Watch carefully. If everything is in order with a gap, then you need to look at the car from the other side. Look at the blue car. In doing so, you must turn your head. Unfortunately, the picture in the mirror does not give a clear idea of whether you run into a blue car or not. It's convenient to look outside, because everything is clear. But when you look inside the car, you lose control of the situation. When there are gaps between our car and neighboring on both sides, try to get the back of our car exactly in the middle of the parking lot. It is convenient to use mirrors for this. On the right and left in the mirrors there should be the same gaps between our car and neighboring cars. When the gaps are the same, the steering wheel and wheels are strictly straight. But on the last inches of the path, ask yourself the question: is it necessary or not to adjust the position of the front of the car? The front of the car can be corrected effectively literally in the last inches of the path. You can watch a lesson on this topic if you click on the link in the description. You should stop finally when your mirror does not reach the mirror of someone else's car a little. But this is only provided that your cars are approximately equal in length. In addition, before starting the race you need to make sure that there are no additional obstacles in the parking lot itself. Sometimes it happens. It may damage the car, or create an obstacle to fire services. You can also use this landmark in the mirror. This is the handle of your door. You need to align your pen over the curb and stop. But it's better to look at this lesson about the pen by the link in the description, or in the upper right corner of the screen. Here I drove this border specifically with the door handle, because I knew that the height of the border is not dangerous, and how to stay safely near the rear curb. See this lesson. Another mistake when driving in front is when you do not use the maximum width of the space in front of the parking lot and begin to turn close to a number of cars. You need to start the turn from distant cars. The error leads to the fact that the car does not have time to straighten up and is at an angle in the parking space. The car becomes crooked and ugly. Therefore, start the race from the opposite end of the cars. In this case, you can put your car exactly like all other cars. You will find a lesson on this topic in the description below the video. Then you should do this repeatedly. Repeat the parking lot in both forward and reverse, necessarily under the supervision of a more experienced driver. Its task is to monitor security. He should not tell which way to turn the steering wheel. The novice driver must learn everything himself, and he should do it without prompts. But let me remind you that the windows should be open. I wish you success and all the best. Bye.